What's up, everybody? It's your best friend, Nasratep, and we're here with something different. A game called Citizen Sleeper. And I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it. I have played this before, but this is like when it first came out. I don't remember anything. So we're gonna start over entirely. Let's see. I remember literally nothing about this goddamn game. Try to work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Eh. Machinist repairs and modifies automated systems using industrial resource extraction. Sleeper assigned machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Drones and high precision remote machines perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleeper assigned operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Perk transfer intercept. Chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Chance to gain random scrap item. And I do like machinist sounds kind of nice. I feel like I'm probably one of these ones. You have a good endurance though. Unmade dice action allows energy recovery at home. Huh. I don't like the negative one to intuition, because intuition is something I rely on in everyday life. Let's go with machinist. That feels right. The first thing you become aware. Sorry, I had to fix my microphone real quick. There we go. There we go. Okay. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body. Forget that body. Who needs that old body? We don't. You resist nostalgia. It is pointless, especially now. This is the moment to reach out, not grow inward. This is your moment of escape. Even if it feels immediately like you're traded one prison for another, smaller, older, lifeless. Reach out. You almost laugh. Or you would if there was room or even air to do so. The walls of the container are immediately present. Cold. Hard. At your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful. Not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning, delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the others? Remember the plan. Remember the plan. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited, and once you got the itch to get out by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip into cargo processing, see yourself into containers, and just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point, only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reach any destination. Let's try to rest. But you were restless. It's been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You were dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body is still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You spend much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else could be impossible to endure. Feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their vigor. Sound too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering. So loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light. White as the cold, softer and softer. Showing a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. I'm out! Dragos! It's been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of a scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life. You stare through a neatly curving element of an improvised heater. You're surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with foggy eyes, you hear a voice. So, Sleeper! You all thawed yet? Almost. I've never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have been a better perseverance than Sub-Zero back. Some more than a few of you. Frozen solid to whole plates or inside out or locked in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech. His headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator on his shoulder. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones, perches. Its iris's eye locking you with an unflinching stare. The last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. It didn't last long. Struggled to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in a memory for a moment. Perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? Ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself for a corporation. And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now. And you're just software, so rogue emulation. Illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor in your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world, but as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person, you are an offshoot. Copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least that last one didn't. No easy way to put it, that body of yours is falling apart. Same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNR wants to protect their property. But if they can't keep hold of you, well, then no one can. Remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Plan obsolescence. A built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down. Separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, Sleeper. But for now, Sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away toward the glassy dome of the yard. The Eye is the best place you could be right now. The Eye? The station! You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently sips his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. Because there's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling much valuable scrap these days, and you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue, you shakily get to your feet. Nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. With that, Drago stalks back into the wreck. His drone's already converging on a rusting hull. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Welcome to Ireland's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Whee! In the cycle. Blah. You wake, curled in the corner of the container, being slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, but when you wake in now, strange, disjointed. The message is readable, but somehow wrong. Sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? Impossible to know after all this. After all this, what matters? A life, building a life. Maybe you did get lucky, finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. Before you can build anything, you need to learn to survive. Maybe you can do that. You can make a life for yourself. Dragos left a few comforts in the container, my blanket, bedroll, stuffed on, the canister of water, makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. Condoms on the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, a skeleton ghost. A web of thread pulling at you at your skin. A constellation of bright, polygonal shapes, like angular suns, burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can, and try to gather energy to greet the day. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You have to break it down. You have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice you roll is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you have to find food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. Okay. Drago's standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset now, trying to realize it's implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, it's cash. You sleep with your eyes rapidly irishing. How you feeling? Okay. Drone chirp. Good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. Another container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. Pauses. So, I'm not gonna chit-chat too long. You want up to work? Sure. Alright then. He nods. Now the yard and simple stuff. We back these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value. Most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find you good hands there, but I figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labor. And obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you can turn up. Chits? Easy, pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Airwall cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we used to trade for back in the day. He stuffs them back in his pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you're best to move on as quickly as you can, and sleeper as well. He trails off. But things being the way they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need help. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. Happy to. Okay, he pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling refresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. Nods distractedly and turns and walks away. The drone I've been long ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Woo! Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Wake up! Dragos Yard. Tutorial action. Action is the primary way you interact with the world as citizen sleeper. To perform an action, select it with it. And then choose an action dice to assign up. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 possible types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. Negative, the action fails. I don't fucking care. Either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only perform one time. I want to do the other one. I cannot go over. Action drive in progress. Clock. There's blah 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 blah. Let's do it. Okay. I want to use one of these. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Now we got a little money. Should we do it one more time? Let's go there. Nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck it. Nuts! Comes a call from the enforcer at the door. Shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. Keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue. Try not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you're here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying half block, they've all made the long queue a test of your nerve. Your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will just a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look at the enforcer. Enforcer's looking down in the corridor, and you dare to glance at him. His purpose is unmistakable. He's there to intimidate, to threaten, if necessary, to carry out those threats. Your broad shoulders are framed with a metal exoskeleton. A couple of mirror-like implants sit below his eyes like mercury teardrops. With considering sense input or aesthetic markers, you aren't sure. Most aren't familiar with the geometric blade-like tattoo on his arm, but you make note of it. You avert your eyes when you look back at the queue. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, push through the doorway and through the plastic sheeting at the far door. Your mind is bathed in warm light. The floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the night market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic below, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. Come, sit, calls a voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turn away, placing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. Make your way across the... way across the room. Figure turns, and as they do, see an expression of confusion flash across your features. They open their mouths to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. Please sit, they gesture to the table, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit, and Sabine turns in a complicated diagnostical stand of some kind in their head. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is quick and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? They ask, the scanner still to their eye. A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnosis scanner on the table. I'm gonna start by assuming you don't know anything. They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, picking your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. As if ARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. The ruined bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping, they built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNR remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yeah. Good, that may help. You swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says. You're unsure if they meant for the cold touch or the metal or anything else. I don't feel good. Understand so large market. Sabine looks up and apologize again, but they stop. Goes, I know little of this is used to you. They turn away. Just assembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Assuming works, and then science breaks away to attention. You stare at her back and willing to say anything. Something. Sabine turns to face you. Maybe it will help, they sigh, as you see darkness under their eyes. Here's fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Joshua outside, you nod. He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, send their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagan is connection. Smugglers from the Star Wars Belt. Mercenaries working for their corporation than Ember. If you have a source stabilizer, it maybe you have a better chance. He sits down. This late, their nose could be this dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Or help me. He walks away to the window, face the double the shadow of the passing drone. Let's just see those words ahead. I'll let you guess what you know. I'll let you know when I have a head lead. My brain. You nod and leaves, being still staring out and moving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the stern to see if you can see the face of the room was dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and off into the crowd. My brain is slowly dying. Emphasis is busy. His broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok. His other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red fleck dressing. It smells incredible. He watches it fill a set of orders, heaping the fungus with a bright salad and pausing it in his plastic tray. Packages rattles an apron, pocketed his customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Watch. By the queue, it doesn't rush. He goes each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquor from an assortment of bottles into the bowl of corn leaves and bright slices before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Impus remains steady in his process. After a while, the queue fades back into the ground and Impus sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the mirror to see you watching him. I can feel your eyes. I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample? Nod. He gestures neatly. Come over. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. Even the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you. You sleepers. Impus says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life. A lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You can tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks. his eyes never leaving his work, until the confusion, the pain, but also sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. Tell him the cold and dark of the container, and the endless cycles spent within it. That's the thing I seem to tell him, like some dream that you once had but could never forget. Ah. Tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, you're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do, eventually you fall off. Okay, here we go. Yeah, eventually you tail off running out of words. Tell him that the eye excites you and scares you. Oh, it's the same thing twice. You let the plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time, we can talk some more. Smiles. But next time, you pay. And the heavy hand against the button on the burner side and shuts off. Throw over the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time, then, sleeper. He waves you in, begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric pattern of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, as you take a bite of the hot, rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Yeah, I will. Hmm. TV time. This time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting, skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment, you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves. Threads, tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station. Like a web of texture in a smooth, black, velvety liquid. I don't know where that last part came from. My brain keeps glitching out. Touch it! On a point in the station, you connect to it, pulse through it, follow loops and pass under and around. You touch more points than you have fingers, and then you try in a moment of impulsiveness to connect it. The flow passes through you so rapidly that you feel yourself being carried with it, splitting and separating, eddying and gathering. As you do, things occur to you. Things that you can't possibly know. You reach out and try to grasp them, try to touch them too. You notice a tugging feeling, pulling at you, insistent, as if it were a small child. The smell of it is pulling you in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. Find yourself standing on the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you shift. Close your eyes for a split second, but you feel waiting there. The station is sprayed out across your mind, a sort of connective node waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. Why do I only have 3? Was I too tired? Hmm. That wasn't good. One more of those. Ah, wrong button. Can I... Okay, I'll get some. Get some sleepy time. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights like stars one. Okay. I swallowed that a little bit too fast. Don't judge me. I can't breathe. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, patches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of the thread across the ring, through these forms, then leap off into the void. You begin to understand these are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it almost seems impossible to pass, but you begin to try. Focus on the threads. There are more threads than you can count. You choose one that passes nearby and approach it. As you inspect it, you understand why you instinctively chose the word thread. When you first saw them, they are not a single line, but rough, fuzzy things woven from data strings of all kinds. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another, and there is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the path and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that's insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions as if they were tied around you. Go with the first. The first thread leads out, away from the station into the inky black. Someone out there's tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're at a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something, a sphere, shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. You open your eyes. Time is short. Blah da blah da blah. Whoa! I don't need it. Wait, what's that? Nothing. Do I have that? Not yet. Okay. Nope, nothing. Okay. Hmm. I can wait till tomorrow. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the... You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across a scorched hull plate and bent structures, spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter's huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's absolutely a beauty, isn't she? Drago stands to the side, focus on the hulking ship that is lowered into the yard. She is, yeah. Gotcha, thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up. But now look at this! The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what happened to the crew. It's silent. Believe it or not, I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. He glances at you. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg. It reaches the base of the yard. He's visibly silent. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hull, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion locked inside the container, the wreck of the SNR freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse, ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own? A womb for your rebirth into the strange station? You shudder. Perhaps you could learn something about this ship. You might be able to retrace the path that led you to this yard. Drago squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we're up to it. What do you think? You see the fading light and the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side. Winter's Light. Let's do it. Glad to go on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back again in a few days, we can make a start. A real beauty, Drago repeats. Perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship. The drones start cutting and the end of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Bum 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 bim bam bam boom bam bim bim bam bam boom bam bim bada bum bum boom boom bam bim. How do I upgrade? I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, we'll probably save with that one. Yeah. 30 seconds. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Ultra Depth playing Citizen Sleeper. Hope you're having a great morning, night, even day. If your birthday, hope it's a great one. Like, comment, subscribe. Take it easy. Hope you're having a great morning, night, even day. If your birthday, hope it's a great one. I just said that. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Keep it spooky. Keep it weird. You're awesome. You're amazing. I love you. You're beautiful. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video. I'm hungry. Don't judge me. Nom 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 nom. Bye-bye.